Welcome to today's Spanish lesson for court interpreters. I have here a form for DUII diversion in the state of Oregon. Begin. So, in the Circuit Court of the state of Oregon, en el Tribunal del Circuito del Estado de Oregon. And then case number, you might immediately jump to caso número, but this one, just so you're aware of the possibility, the form has causa número. And then again, this is DUII diversion. How do you say diversion? That is programa alternativo. So we have programa alternativo para casos por DUII. Now let's get to the bulk of this. Let's go to the defendant's agreement and waiver. It starts with, I am the defendant. And you might very oftentimes hear just, yo soy el acusado. But here in this form, you will see them say, soy la parte acusada. And I don't know if it's to keep it more gender neutral, but something that you should be aware about. One of the ways you can say defendant, parte acusada. And then we're here for the charge of driving under the influence of intoxicants, or DUII. Here, the state of Oregon, we have por el cargo de conducir bajo los efectos de embriagantes, DUII por sus siglas en inglés. And so some states, they do allow or accept, or their forms will say conducir o manejar bajo la influencia. So you might see different things in different states or different forms or some different study materials, but maybe try to look up what your state likes just to see. And because they don't want to say driving under the influence of intoxicants all the time, we have DUII. And in Spanish, you're going to say DUII por sus siglas en inglés. Just the very first time, you'll see through the rest of the form, every time DUII is mentioned, you no longer have to say por sus siglas en inglés. You just need to mention it once at the beginning. Let's look at section E here. Install and use an approved ignition interlock device, IID, if ordered by the court. So two things here that we should study. An ignition interlock device, que es un dispositivo de bloqueo del arranque. And here I highlighted the next part, if ordered by the court, because the court here, they're not saying el tribunal, they're saying si el juez me lo ordena. I'm going to put here on the screenshot the full block, but we're just going to focus on the highlighted terms just to keep it manageable. Pay the required diversion fee. They're not even specifying the full, they're just saying pagar las tarifas obligatorias del programa. So diversion, again, is el programa alternativo. So they just shortened it, didn't even say programa alternativo. But the main thing here, I think, that I wanted to highlight is the fees. Fees aren't the same thing as fines, so fees are tarifas. Pagar las tarifas obligatorias del programa. And then B, pay restitution. When I was looking up restitution, some glossaries just said restitución, some said resarcimiento, but here they're saying pagar reparación de daños, which I think is the most friendly for the defendant, or just that tells us more what restitution is, pagar reparación de daños. And I do want to just highlight how important it is to just read as much as possible, because in the test, a certain portion of the sight portion of the test, you are going to be tested Spanish to English. So what if this form was on the test and you saw pagar reparación de daños, but for restitution you had only memorized restitución o resarcimiento. Or hopefully, if you know the definition, then if you saw pagar reparación de daños, you'd make the connection. But always just reading, it's always going to help. Or watching my videos, thank you. And then let's move on to letter C. Complete an alcohol and drug abuse assessment. And again, this one, if you're thinking very literal, and reading forms is going to help you get out of the habit of being so literal as an interpreter, because we're interpreting meaning. So the form, you'll see they're not saying completar una evaluación. They're saying someterse a una evaluación sobre el abuso de alcohol y drogas. So again, I'm sure if this was the test and you read and you said complete an alcohol and drug abuse assessment and you said completar, you're not going to be marked wrong for that. But if you want to just build your vocabulary, read. All right, guys. And it's a lot for today. And let me know if you like this way of learning. It's a little dense, but I figured you can get the source right here, see it all, and then we'll learn together. Let me know if you just prefer going back to the flashcards one by one. Let me know. Have a great rest of the day, friends, and bye-bye.